I've never seen a Maya archaeologist like acknowledge this or talk about this before. And what's crazy is this happens. So people have often wondered why Maya civilization begins in the middle of the Petén jungle in Guatemala. It's the most, it's the worst place that you could begin a civilization. It's kind of like being in the middle of the Amazon, right? Except it's even worse in the middle of Guatemala because there's not a major river next to you. The only thing you have are freshwater reservoirs, like swamps that are infested by these huge crocodiles and everything. So I'm trying to think of like the psychology behind why do people live there in the first place? Okay. In early prehistoric times, let's go back like 5,000 BC. You already had people living in Mexico in what will become Mesoamerica, prehistoric Mesoamerica. And probably the prime real estate, if this is pre-agriculture, pre-farming maize, probably the prime real estate is along the coastlines because you can sail out, you can go fishing, you can catch fish. I mean, that seems to be the obvious real estate. It also must be incredibly violent, right? And so just like the Comanches who get beat up in, early pre-Columbian times and they get pushed into the Great Plains and the place with the worst real estate, probably there was a group of just Maya people who were very unequipped for warfare to be able to survive on the coastline. So they retreat into what is the worst real estate in all of Mesoamerica, which is in the center of the Petén jungle, where you have no freshwater running rivers. All you have is reservoirs and like the water table. So you dig this huge artificial lake and then the water seeps up out of the ground and that's your water, which wasn't really that healthy, and it kind of causes problems maybe 1,000 years later or so. No more, maybe like 2,000 years later. But for a long time it was a mystery. Why did Maya civilization start in the middle of the Petén jungle in Guatemala, in the worst place? There are so many other places it could have began. And I realized it this one night when we were talking about it. The Olmecs were so wealthy, or let's go to about 1500 BC. The Olmecs are so wealthy that they're commissioning basalt to be brought in from the Sierra de la Tuxtla Mountains to their northwest, but that wasn't Olmec land necessarily. There was a different culture that was living there, and that was coring the stone and moving it for them, okay? They were also getting serpentine and jade. Serpentine and jade is not native to the Olmec realm. It comes from somewhere in the Maya realm. And so they were trading with the Maya people to get this jade. For a long time, nobody ever knew where the jade and the serpentine was coming from because quarries are really hard to find, especially in the jungle. It's like this big crater in the ground, but then over thousands of years, it gets filled in with jungle and vegetation, and then it just becomes this little, it looks like a hill, right? Or it looks like two hills, and that's it. You can't even perceive it anymore. And so in the late 1900s, there were these expeditions that went out, and there was a book written called Stone of Kings, and they went looking for the serpentine and jade quarries. And sure enough, they come from the center of the Petén jungle. That's where they were at. And I haven't seen many Maya archaeologists expand much more on this other than saying, hey, this is where the jade quarries were, that the Maya were getting their jade. But they've never connected it to the Olmecs. But I'm like, the jade and serpentine is coming from the center of the Petén jungle. This wasn't started because the Maya were mining it to give it to themselves. They started it probably because the Olmecs were looking for it, found they liked these valuable green stones and sought it out and sent expeditions into the Maya world, into the farthest, deepest depths of the jungle, where the poorest Maya people that were afraid of everyone else were living in the middle of the jungle, and said, you guys have access to this, mine this for us and give it back to us. And so from the center of the jungle, probably, like just the bitches of the Maya world that got pushed away from the coastlines, did not realize that they were sitting on top of an endless quarry of valuable green stone that the Olmecs wanted. So probably the Olmecs are trading with these people, and just like Cahuacan made the Aztecs filthy rich, the Olmecs made the Maya in the center of the jungle filthy rich. So these people that were pushed away from the coastlines and forced to live in the center of the jungle were actually sitting on top of the jackpot. And that's why the major origin, the Fertile Crescent of the Maya world, emerges from the center of the jungle in the least hospitable place that they could have possibly been living. And that's exactly why. So it was the Olmecs fueling the Maya, and then the Maya emerge at a place called El Mirador. And the two,
like evolution in a weird, fucked up way.
It's weird, right?
Yeah.
I've never seen a Maya archaeologist like acknowledge this or talk about this before. And what's crazy is this happens between 1000 BC and 200 BC. And so the two pyramids at El Mirador are called La Danta and El Tigre, and it's the two largest pyramids that the Maya will ever construct. They will never, ever build pyramids larger than the first two that they made. They'll never be... It's just like in Egypt. The original pyramids are the biggest and baddest. It's the same thing in the Maya world.
That's when the aliens were there.
That's when the aliens were there. And so, yeah, it's fascinating, man. And the pyramid at El Mirador is so large, to give you just an idea of...
That one on the right side, yeah.
Yeah, it's large. So that's the pyramid of El Mirador superimposed on top of the city of Tikal. So the pyramid of El Mirador is the size of the city of Tikal.
Look at the trees in comparison to that.
Oh, it's insane. It's absolutely insane. Here's an idea of how big the pyramid at El Mirador is, La Danta and El Tigre. I walked all the way up the pyramid. It's a daunting walk. I'm completely exhausted. The Guatemalan jungle just zaps your strength. You know, from the Amazon, like you just sweat like crazy. Yeah. You can't drink enough water to stay hydrated. It's just insane, you know. So we spent some time up there taking some photos. We eat some lunch on top of the pyramid, take some photos of the jungle. It's super cool. Like, it's the only place I've ever been where I look off to every single horizon and it's nothing but jungle. It's the only place I've ever been like this.
You're just eating Taco Bell on top of this pyramid.
Yeah. I think I was eating an Uncrustable, actually. Two Uncrustables and some Oreos and a Fanta. You have to have Fanta in Latin America.
Mondelez is like Brandon, bitch.
Yeah, and so we walk back down the pyramid. I'm having a conversation with some of the people that are with me, and you know, we walk steps. There are these on some of them there are wooden staircases that are built up to help, because they don't want you walking on the stone. And I mean, keep in mind, this is in the middle of the jungle that they built these wooden staircases on the side. It's crazy. And so we walk down one level, walk across, down, another level, walk across, down. We get to the bottom of the pyramid. I'm walking along this path for like 5 minutes or so, having a conversation about El Mirador and how far out here we are. And it's just unbelievable. We're here in the middle of there's another step down. So I had been walking on the pyramid for 5 minutes after I thought I was at the bottom, walking forward on the platform.
You almost toppled over.
And then I reached the next descent down to the bottom of the pyramid. It's absolutely massive. And what they didn't realize until just within the last few decades or so is that when you actually get down to the real bottom of the pyramid, you can walk then for another mile to get to the pyramid across the way, and they directly face each other. But that path that you're walking on is actually a platform that's raised up off the ground, and the entire city, including both of the pyramids, sits on top of a man-made platform in the middle of the jungle. Oh, it's insane, dude. It's just... Actually, if you were ever to come to a cool place, like, you should come to Guatemala, and you and I should just fly in a helicopter to El Mirador. Like, it's something that's...
I don't do helicopters, but I'll definitely go there.
I'll show you a video or something. Or maybe I'll send you the video. You can put it in.
Yeah, that looks sick.
It's one of those things where you're out there, and you're kind of like you were saying that when you're in the Amazon, it is bigger than you can comprehend. It's one of the wonders of the world, right? Like El Mirador, Morgan Freeman, when he went, he thought that El Mirador should be added to one of the wonders of the world, because when you're there walking around...
That's God saying.
That's God saying.
Yeah.
When you're there walking around, it is truly mind-blowing. Like, you're looking at the size of it, and you walk down the bottom platform, and you think about this entire city is artificial. They're not using the natural terrain because the jungle is flat. Everything there is raised up off of the ground. It's mind-blowing, dude. And you think about, okay, these guys started doing this in the middle of the jungle around 800 BC.
It's inconceivable. It's completely inconceivable, yeah.
It's crazy.
And like you said, when you go out to these places, obviously I haven't been to Guatemala, but I've been in the middle of the Amazon jungle. It's different, but similar kind of vibe. You're a speck in the middle of this
You are, man.
voraciously growing on top of itself ecosystem. You're just like, with everything we have now, you can't even get cops out there or the army out there. There's no laws.
No, there's
Imagine
nothing
it
out there.
back then.
Yeah, there's nothing out there.
I mean,
man.
it's like,
And the other thing that's crazy is I realized the distance. So being there, it's one of the only times you get to see the ancient world mostly untouched. Like some of that city is excavated, but there is no. Maybe there's one or two structures in that entire city that's completely excavated because there's a camp out there, but you have to get there by helicopter. So there's like maybe
you have to take a helicopter?
or you walk for 3 days to get there.
Yeah, I'll
And
do
you
the
walk-
walk for
and
3
you walk
days.
3
That's
home.
fun. Yeah.
That'd still be fun to do.
Yeah.
And during that 3-day walk, when you camp, you're stopping at other cities that are in the jungle. So there's campsites set up at just these ruins. Cities, full-on cities in the middle of the jungle. You got to walk basically from one horizon to the next every day. And what I've realized when I was out there was that you can actually kind of predict the proximity. Like if you're looking for a lost city, they're all within the horizon's radius of each other. Like if you're in one city, you can see another city. If you're standing on top of the pyramid, just scan the horizon and you'll see it, boop, and you keep going around, and you'll see another, boop, and they're all a horizon's distance away from each other.
Wow.
That has to be strategic. It has to be like, so you can do smoke signals or you can do fires
Like
in the middle of the
military
night, and you can
Yeah. Yep.
you can send signals to each other. So it has to be this interconnected web of cities. Actually, in the Inca world, I was surprised to find when I was there last month, it's exactly the same. You can find, this is so cool. Okay, so Machu Picchu, I mean, you've seen Machu Picchu. It's sitting up on top of this spine of this mountainside.
I flew over that. Yeah.
You what?
Yeah, I had to fly from, where the hell was I? But when I was flying to see Paul inland, I flew over
Oh,
those
okay.
mountains and
Yeah,
everything. So I
yeah,
haven't been there, but
yeah.
seen it.
It's amazing, dude. It's just one of those places you got to go to. And so I'm sitting there and I'm talking to this. There's a young archaeologist who's maybe like my age or so, and I was asking him. I was like, okay, so on these other mountainsides that are near us, because it's this steep mountain, and then the other mountains come up, and it's just like this out in the Andes. It's crazy with rivers running through it. And I say, okay, on this mountain next to us, is there anything over there? Have they ever found any ruins over there? And they're like, oh, yeah. There's some vestiges over there. And I was like, vestiges? What do you mean? And he was like, oh, I don't know. They're like forts, like lookout points. And then I was like, do you think that they were sending fire signals back and forth, like throughout the mountains? Like, do you think that they could bounce fire signals to try to get messages across? And the guy was like, well, I mean, they found single buildings on mountainsides before. And I was like, so theoretically, if you were to go looking through the jungles that's up on top of these mountains, which is like extremely treacherous, there's a 50% chance you would die trying to go do this. And I was like, but do you think that they had vestiges on the mountainsides where if something's happening at Machu Picchu and you needed Cusco to find out, rather than having a sprinter or somebody, walking to send a message, could you just you could bounce a signal through the mountains
genius.
to get there? And then the guy was like, well, maybe you could. I started looking into it, and this was something that Hiram Bingham thought as well. He was finding little things, and so
You're like having a Dr. House moment over here where he like looks up like, I got it.
Oh, it's crazy. And so I'm seeing a similarity here between the Inca sending fire signals, and then they must always have things within a certain proximity of each other to be able to communicate instantly. I mean, like that's like communicating at light. That's like communicating at cell phone speed compared to walking, me sending a letter to you. And so, yeah, there's got to be different. When I was at El Mirador, that's where the idea happened that there must be a pattern of where the cities are built. And you could probably create a web and estimate the proximity. Like wherever you're at, if you want to try to find a city, you could go on a map and draw out the horizon from one single area. And if you were going to go look for a city, you go roughly to that horizon and follow in a circular path around. You just orbit around one city and just keep following that horizon of your central city, and you'll probably come across something. That would be.
That's insane.
I just spilled the sauce for people looking
No,
for
but
lost
that's
cities,
actually insane.
yeah. So
They could come up with stuff like this.
wild, man.
Thank you guys for checking out this clip. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe and hit the like button on this video. It is a huge, huge help. And if you'd like to check out this clip's full podcast episode, that link is in the description below or right here. And finally, you can follow me on Instagram and X by using the links in my description below.